When I went after Van Jones to expose who he was, if you'll remember right, if you watched the show back then, I said, don't fire him, don't fire him. What are you doing firing him? I was the only one standing up. The White House shouldn't be firing this dude. I just wanted people to know who he really was and who the president had working around him. The same right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness applies to communists. Van Jones has a right to get a job. That's fine. But it also applies to me and you. My position on this has been clear and consistent from the very beginning. And my position on things has not really changed. In fact, it has gotten deeper. However, the methods might have changed a little bit because I hope I'm smarter. I hope I'm a better person than I was. And I'm really quite baffled because the press today is like, it's crazy. It's crazy. They are still talking about what I said to Megyn Kelly earlier this week. Reminder.
How will you remember it? How do you remember it now?
That was funny.
I remember it as an awful lot of fun and that I made an awful lot of mistakes, and I wish I could go back and be more uniting in my language because I think I played a role, unfortunately, in helping tear the country apart.
Okay.
And
Stop. Now, the media is all over this today because they really, truly cannot understand why the always angry, always crazy Glenn Beck is now suddenly introspective and calm. What is happening to him? How is he changing? He's changing his views now, you know. Well, no, I'm not. I haven't changed any of my views. You're discovering some of my views. CNN had a panel segment today talking about this, and the banner said, Beck changes his tone on gays. I looked at that and I went, I have? When? Hey, CNN researchers, show your audience the times when I was harsh on gays. I'll spare you the research, which you're never going to do. It doesn't exist. The funny thing is, the media acts as if they're always the enlightened one. Glenn Beck has evolved, and evolution is a good thing. I caught that one today. I thought that was great. I was divisive. I didn't mean to be. I tried not to be, but it's the system that just pits people apart. And he's divisive, and he's finally admitting it. No. I'm willing to take responsibility for my part. And yet their warped view of me proves that they have been perpetuating this problem all along. They are shocked today because they think I'm some anti-gay racist nutjob, and they think the same thing about you. Now, why do they think that? Because the only time they ever reported on me or on you was when some leftist with an agenda at Media Matters sent them some ridiculous out-of-context Glenn Beck alert. And that's the only thing that's ever been newsworthy to them. That's it. They didn't see the CNN or MSNBC report on the Restoring Love event in Dallas. Oh, that's right. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox, nobody did a report on that. You remember that? And we had truckloads of relief. In fact, it was one of the biggest armies of volunteers that America has seen. Not a peep from the media. I haven't changed. They're just seeing it. I didn't see them report on Mercury One's donations and the work in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy or any of the other numerous tornadoes and other tragedies that you have done. Because of you, Mercury One has been able to give $14 million to victims of tragedy in under 2 years. $250,000 to the NYPD. I think it was like their union or something, because they didn't have any money to be able to help on their emergency relief for their families. The union guys were like, I don't know what to do. Because that's who we are, dude. You just didn't think so. $500,000 we gave to a struggling hospital in New York City. Joe, is it 500? Yeah, $500,000 to New York City, so they could help continue to treat people in New York City that are not welcome in any place. And it's great that we're helping them, because I got news for you. Apparently, I'm not welcome in New York either. I don't think they even saw the beginning, let alone the end, of Man in the Moon.
Now step off the limb now.
And the man in the moon was woken from his deep slumber by a faint and gentle tapping.
1, 5, Please remain silent.
One that he had not felt ever before. It was his beasts. And when he looked closer, he saw them. He saw them dancing and jumping upon his face. They were dancing together in the glow of the great light. They had done it. They had found their way. They had used their machines to reach toward him, and now they were one.
Hello, hello. How about the reaction from the crowd of 25,000 people who saw that? How about just one reaction of somebody who sure doesn't look like she should be a fan of Glenn Beck's?
I would love to tell Glenn Beck, thank you very much. I heard something today that I didn't know I needed to hear until I heard it, and so it hit very close to home for me. And now I know that every day the sun will rise and I can look up to see the moon to remind me that I know the sun will come again.
That's our job. That's what we've been trying to do. But they never covered it. They didn't report on the 9/12 project that brought people together on principles and values. They mocked it. They didn't look at it. They didn't believe it. They were cynical. They didn't report on any of this and what you've done. They've just selectively decided to paint all of us in a certain way. May I humbly suggest that the media stop gawking at my introspection and start maybe doing a little introspection of their own. Piers Morgan, this is a record, Piers Morgan had a response I have to commend. Watch.
Let's talk seriously though, about the polarization of political debate in America, because Glenn Beck was quite brave, I thought, to say what he said. And if I'm being self-reflective, it doesn't happen very often, but I may as well throw it out there. You know, we mentioned guns there. When I've done the guns debate, I can tell that when I get over angry and get a little bit abusive to the gun people, that it actually doesn't help the debate. That actually all it does is intensify the polarization.
How fantastic is that? How fantastic is that? Okay? He took this as an opportunity to look inward and upward, not just at you. Kudos, Piers. Joe Scarborough, not a friend of this program, responded this way on MSNBC today.
You know, he came out this past week and also said, if you are anti-gay, if you don't like a person because they're gay, you have no place in this country and don't call yourself a fan of mine. I think what's so fascinating about this is that if Glenn Beck were saying all this from a position of weakness, that would be one thing. Mm-hmm. Glenn Beck, I mean, from what I saw, made like $90 million last year. He has done on the internet what the largest corporations in America have tried to do on the internet. I mean, he has somehow brought together TV and internet, and he's had an extraordinary year financially. So I think that's what's even more telling about this, is that he's making these admissions from a position of strength. What do you think about it, Meek? And let's toss it around the table. I think
I just want to show you that, because Joe Scarborough is not a friend of this network. In fact, let me show you what Joe Scarborough said when I left Fox.
I'm just saying it outright that Roger Ailes was right, that all of those people that showed up at Glenn Beck's rally were Fox people, were Roger Ailes people, and not Glenn Beck's people. And Glenn Beck will find that out in the coming years. Roger Ailes has built a remarkable platform for conservative speakers. And Glenn Beck got plugged in at 5 o'clock and did better than anybody else at 5 o'clock, but he also did better than he will for the rest of his career.
Here's a guy who had that opinion and now was able to realize that he was wrong. And I would like to take this moment and ask the media, aren't we all a little wrong about something? Haven't we all done things that we're saying, oh man, if I just would have known then? Really? Haven't we all just made mistakes? I mean, none of us are perfect. What is that? He without sin cast the first stone thing. Unfortunately, that's not how the media is set up. I've asked Tiffany to run as a documentary maybe the Christmas meeting that we had as a company and show you who we are on the inside. They won't understand. They won't even get it. I think you'll even be shocked at a lot of the stuff, the way, probably not, the way we run our company and what we think we are and we stand for and what we strive to be. And the rest of the media admitting a mistake is, oh, that's horrible. I've always told you I lead with my mistakes. And I've always told you we can disagree, but I will defend you. I will defend. And I'm not going to defend a mistake because I'm afraid I'll lose an argument. Don't be afraid. And don't fall into the trap of the 7 crimes. Don't be afraid to think, to know, to care.
Coming up on 30.